From anxiety-selling travel products to IHG's newest brand, cost-cutting hotel perks, and Spirit Airlines selling jets, plus a viral airport video that will make you do a double take. This week's GMH Hotels covers both strategy and spectacle. Let's get into it.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, Sarah.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Look at that. I can do an intro.
Yeah, you can. That was very well done, sir. Very, very well done.
Watching the best for a couple of years now, Sarah.
Oh my
Watching
gosh.
you nail it every time. I was like, I'm going to try it this time, viewers. and
You
listeners. I'm gonna make sure
were
I jump in here.
fantastic. I just had to sit there and just chill, which was kind of awesome. Yeah, I'm playing with my lights here. So thank you for that.
Ah, you got it. Watch out, local news. I know Sarah has the circuit down, but if you need someone in South Florida to hop on, you let me know. I'm happy to jump in and do some openings.
You're crazy. You're
But I'm
crazy.
feeling good today, Sarah. I told you, I think there's something in the air. I don't know about all the moon cycles and the waves or whatever's going on in the environment, but feeling grateful today. Things are going well. Beautiful day here in Miami. Get to do the show with you and all the viewers.
Amazing.
Feeling good today. How are you feeling?
Good. Not as great as you. I mean, I feel fine, but it's much earlier for me on the West Coast. So I feel like I'm always playing a game of catch up. So even if I'm like waking up at 5:30 in the morning, my body's still like, we're getting there. So I try to bring that early morning energy.
You got it today. Viewers, this is my favorite thing. And listeners, you don't get to see this. You got to watch. There is light coming up. It's sunrise where Sarah is. And I can see her stressing about the lighting hitting her face slowly going up. As the sun's coming up. So don't worry, Sarah. We're going to do a great show. Let that sun shine through. And Lou says, sun's up. Time to go, 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 go. It's true.
Oh my gosh, you guys, you are too ridiculous. But why does it feel like it's been so long since I saw you, and it was just last week?
I don't know. We gotta, we usually catch up a lot more. We didn't catch up this week. I think it's probably what it was.
Yeah,
But
probably.
in-person stuff, a lot of stuff's coming up in Miami.
Yeah.
We have a lot of great things going on. Food and wine festivals coming up
No,
very
we're trying to
shortly.
make it for that.
Boat
But
show just happened. Art shows, like so many cool things going on.
Mhm.
So you definitely have to make time to come on over. And I also want to get over to where you're at. We were talking about doing some stuff potentially live.
Yes.
Pretty exciting.
Yes. So let us know if you want to see us do some live things. We've got a lot of fun contacts. Yeah.
Lighthouse Point, Florida. Robert, very good to see you. Actually, our vacation rental management team just signed a property in Lighthouse Point.
Oh.
Reza, good to see you here. Let us know where you're all watching from. I know we've got a lot of viewers watching live right now. I would love to see where you're watching from, especially the ones on YouTube. We have a lot of new people on YouTube watching. LinkedIn, we always love seeing you here. But we just love interacting with you all. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Pop into the comments. Let us know what you're thinking as we cover some of these fun stories today.
All right. Look at you. You're just like hosting, like you just you're driving the bus today.
Something. There's a Chinese New Year, I think, was yesterday. Maybe there's something going on.
Wait, did you wear red yesterday?
No, I did not. I wore my signature uniform. I had to give a speech yesterday at a conference, which was always fun as well.
I wore red. I was like, I'll take all the luck. I watered a money tree. I wore red. I was into it.
Lou, lovely Charleston, South Carolina. I want to go back to Charleston. I haven't been in a couple of months. I only went for my first time recently. It was great. And Paul Manzi getting his popcorn ready. We'll put on a good show for you today.
Ooh. All right. With that, should we dive into our first topic?
I think we should.
Yeah, cool. So this was actually pretty cool. I thought it was a fascinating read. So the travel industry's most profitable product is your anxiety. Why do I actually love this? Because that is also, for those that know that I have my concierge business, this is what drives my concierge business. I feel like, yes, there's a lot that I end up doing, but probably a good 60% of what I do is just calm people down. And so people have so much anxiety when it's true, right? So it's interesting. Basically, this was an article that kind of talked about how travel companies are really monetizing travelers' anxiety. So obviously, where do we see it in the big picture? insurance, having flexibility, premium pricing. I mean, I can't even tell you the number of times that we end up, I book either for my clients or even my mom books stuff fully refundable because they're nervous. Like, what if something happens? So it's interesting. I mean, obviously people will pay for a peace of mind, but should they have to? I think that's the big question.
Yeah, that's what's interesting. And I was looking here, they were saying this fintech product cancel for any reason. This accounts for 45% of its total profit is the, hey, have flexible cancellation pay. And I was just booking a trip with my father, which is going to be an exciting trip out into Moab, Utah. And we were looking at different places and we found a great property that we want to stay at. And I just remember thinking like it was much cheaper to just book the room without any cancellation, no flexibility. Like you book. Then it was, I don't know, I think it was almost 20% higher to book with cancellation. And I think that we might have booked it that way. So if my dad's watching, he watches some of these. I forget what we booked, but I think we did just in case something happened. It was just having that peace of mind. Like, all right, I'm not going to go. Like we already bought the plane tickets. We already signed up for the thing that we're going to do there, but we still paid that extra for the chance to be able to cancel, which is interesting that it's a revenue strategy now for all of these hotels to say, I get it. I'll give you a discount knowing that I'm always going to get that money and I can count on that money. And if you do want to cancel, hey, I'm going to charge you a tax on that cancellation fee, basically. So, I mean, you book a lot of travel for people. Are you using these cancellation anytime fees, or are you paying the non-refundable fees?
No. Oh, that's a great question. Also, I'm, a lot of times cost is a secondary issue for my clients. So it's more about convenience, is number one. So for all of like 90% of my clients, we're booking fully refundable fares. And we will change. I mean, even last night, I got a note at like 8:00 at night, like, oh, we need to change. We need to add this. And these are like expensive tickets too. We're talking about like $20,000 round trip flights and that. So obviously for $20,000, it's, at that point you're like, okay, they definitely want to pay extra to make sure that they can keep it flexible. But I mean, I get it. Like I don't book it for myself. Even though I do change my flights quite frequently, but that's why I stick with Delta, because even though I'll basically still have that as credit and I know I'm going to be traveling again. So for me, my peace of mind is if I just stick with Delta, I'll always have that credit, even if I have to change things. So I think we all have different approaches to it and it depends. But I liked in this article, they said 30% of travelers now rank ticket refundability, 30% rank that as one of the highest value features. And then 27% say about the same for flexibility for changes. I think, I mean, there was always an element of that, but especially after the pandemic where people got burned. I mean, I got burned by a big airline company because they didn't want to cancel my flight to India at the start of the pandemic. And I was sitting on a chunk of change. I sat on a price of a flight to India and I never got my money back. And it like was to me,
Yeah, it's interesting how this works out there. In our Monday show, maybe you guys talked about this too, is that in the vacation rental world, which I'm still part of as well, I'm in both worlds. It's, the travel, like Airbnb, if you're not a flexible cancellation policy, you're not showing up in the algorithm as much as the strict policy. And part of the speeches I was giving yesterday was around FIFA and travel around FIFA.
Sure.
And they were saying that 60% of the bookings that are going through for vacation rentals and short-term rentals, and looks like some boutique hotels too, are all wanting flexible cancellation rates. So 60% out of all of them. And then what people are seeing, there's only a 19% cancellation that is actually being used versus when you still have strict, right? Strict is a tiny, people don't want that. They're still seeing people cancel and they're keeping the money, but it's not that big a jump. So it's interesting kind of model to see where people are paying those extra rates and never canceling anyway, just having it in peace of mind. And you're getting those higher ADRs out of people stressing and worrying that something might go down.
Yeah, it is fascinating. I mean, people really, really, I mean, I've had clients that are like, well, what if that flight gets delayed or that gets canceled? And I'm like, you are correct. That could happen, but we're not going to live in that space. It's like, to me, it's like there's so much going on and there's
but if you help you sleep better at night, like I might be that way too on certain things. If it can help you sleep better at night and you buy that travel insurance or whatever it might be, that refundable fee. Like I see Loom is kind of like me. Maybe it's you sleep better at night, not worrying about it. So maybe it's just something we all have to work on. Too much coming in of all the bad news around the world always pumped into us. We need some good news. I need a good news channel. So if any viewers or listeners have some good news sources, put it here in the comments. I want to start filling my algorithm with good news.
Well, I have to say, I mean, it's like at the end of the day, especially when what is that quote? It's such a great quote. It's like the thing about anxiety or worrying is like, especially if you're worrying about something that isn't like, why would you worry twice about something? Or why are you even worrying about something that might not even happen? You're like, to me, it's such a waste of energy. And there's always going to be a solution. Yes. And you know what? And I know this sounds horrible to say, and maybe it's a privileged sort of way of thinking about it, but like if we really look at it, we've all wasted money in our lives. At the end of the day, you get screwed out of some money and it really sucks, but like we just will get over it, So it's like, it's obviously not convenient. Nobody wants that ever to happen, but you put it in perspective and you just keep it moving.
I love it. For our revenue managers listening and watching, let us know. I'm curious because this wasn't as prevalent 5 years ago when I was still running hotels. Is this part of the true revenue strategy now to really push people into that refundable fee? I would love to hear what you all think because it does make a ton more money as we're seeing here. People want the chance to be able to refund if they're willing to pay for it. So let us know what you're seeing out there.
They should be doing that instead of resort fees. There you go.
Oof. Resort fees straight to the bottom line. But
there you go. Oh,
I think we got to get to our next topic here.
Okay, fine. All right. So IHG, our friends over at IHG, they have launched their 21st brand, Noted Collection. This is great. I mean, is this new? Nothing about this is new. In the sense that they've launched this new brand, which is basically a sort of collection or a way to kind of label and capture independent and boutique hotels. We've seen this with a lot of the other big brands doing it, and they're really kind of focused on Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, where there are a lot more independent and boutique hotels. And obviously, there's a lot of perks. Certainly for travelers, there's a lot of perks as well for the hotel owners. But I think it makes sense, and it's great to see, especially if you are loyal to the IHG brand and company.
Yes, 21st brand. So I think all the big brands we've talked about over the past 6 months are in the 20s now. And it just shows the Noted Collection being added. It just shows asset light. IHG doing this brand doesn't have to build any hotels, doesn't have to cover any payroll, doesn't have to carry any major expenses, plugs in these hotels that are, one-offs that are in Europe or Asia or in the areas that they're focusing on, they said here, and they get automatic marketing and distribution and revenue management for a fee. And IHG collects that fee and a piece of every single reservation that comes through. And they may have some incentives too if that hotel does better, but it's just an easy way now. We'll say easy, but it's a way now for hotel brands to continue to make money, right? We talked last week about Marriott's credit card game and how much money they're making from that. This asset light model, these collection models, really, people are signing up. So there's got to be some value. People keep doing it. They're expecting in the next 10 years to have 150 hotels added to that Noted Collection. So not a gigantic number, but significant number to get into that collection and keep driving opportunities for guests to get into that loyalty program and make it worthwhile for people to be IHG fans, which I am. I love Intercontinental hotels. I've talked about that a lot. I have their GMs interviewed all the time. So I enjoy what IHG does, and they can keep making it better for everybody. Good for you, but it's also a great revenue model for them.
No, it's great. And at the end of the day, I mean, from the business side, obviously it's a fantastic revenue model, but from the consumer side, the reality is, and we've shifted away from people wanting always. Sometimes they do want it. I know for myself, sometimes I do want it, where the brand and what you're walking into, the quote unquote big box. So there's something to be said for consistency of the big brands, but then there's also an increasing number of travelers who are like, I just want something that has local personality, that's super unique, that I know that when I'm going there and I'm staying there, it's going to be very different than when I'm staying at another property around the world. So, I mean, this is the reality of the sandbox that we're playing in, certainly travelers. And so, I mean, it just makes sense that they're adding this to their business model. And I think it's a win-win all around.
Yeah, I think there's also an opportunity for people building unique things out there. So if you can create a unique brand or a unique property, I think there's still something there, because you see the big brands aren't doing it. They're creating collections. They're not really launching brand new products. So keep building what you're building. Keep being creative. I'd like to see a lot of opportunity for everyone out there.
All right. Well, let's go on to our next topic here. This is interesting. So our next topic, hotel free breakfast cost cuts in Holiday Inn and Marriott. So this is interesting. The free breakfast situation. I feel like you have a lot to probably say on this.
Yes, viewers, if you didn't know, I came up through food and beverage, former food and beverage director here for large resort hotels. And I do have to say, this is an interesting thing, because I remember growing up, that was part of the fun, right? As a kid, like, you would get in there to some of these hotels and you would make your waffle in that waffle maker, and you could eat whatever cereal was out of there. You could eat as many Frosted Flakes and Lucky Charms as you wanted. But nowadays, the breakfast, look, the cost of running a hotel operation is getting very expensive, especially for these mid-tier brands that we talk about a lot, that are not seeing their fair share of the consumer. They're having to fight more and more. There's more and more brands. There's more and more collections to go against. And so it's starting to become, 5 to 7% of a hotel's revenue of these sizes going into this free breakfast, which is really marketing.
Huge.
Right? It's a marketing expense, and they're not seeing that return on investment for that free breakfast. And what we're starting to see, because I've been in some hotels that have this, is the quality of that free breakfast has started to decline further and further and further and further down from when I was a kid to now, where it's everything is in plastic wrap. It's more grab and go with a microwave, some terrible coffee. And just actually may make the stay even worse, because you don't feel like, man, this is what the free breakfast is. And you could say, well, build it into the rate, make the rate a little higher and give me a better breakfast. But then if the competitors are not doing that, then you're getting priced out, because it almost becomes a commodity where you're staying at that time. So it's a hard challenge, and people are getting rid of this breakfast now and saying they're going to put it into better a la carte menus, or better quality of the room, better experience potentially with the front desk. If it was me and I'm doing this, I think you keep a couple of free things and then do a bunch of upsell a la cartes. I think that's what I would rather have, because you're going to pay hopefully up for a little bit more quality. I don't want to see so many people eating the junk that they're putting out there these days, because a lot of the hotels are really, it's bottom of the barrel. It says it's food. It's not truly food, I think. And now in these days where we're all trying to be a little bit more health conscious, I think you pay up a little bit, try to make it worthwhile for the guests, see what you can do. But I also think vacation rentals have trained people too, right? This whole mix of, I'll go out to the grocery store if that room has a microwave and something else I can cook on. So it's an interesting place that we're in, but I do think that we may see the end of some of these free breakfasts, especially in the hotels that we're talking about here.
So it's interesting. I find this it's an interesting conversation, because it also depends on market. So in Europe, Middle East, and other parts of the world, the breakfast is like, that's just assumed.
Assumed, yes, yeah.
It's assumed, and it's very much not that way in the United States. And the hotels that still have breakfast included are these sort of mid-tier hotels, I guess we'd say. And at the end of the day, if you're looking at it through the lens of the people that are staying at those hotels and maybe the types of trips that they're taking. So you're talking about families, it could be road trips, budget, definitely very budget conscious. I mean, that's a big part of what they're looking for with their stay.
Yep.
I get it. I understand, but I feel like there will be a lot of pushback to it, because it's what they need and they expect. I mean, I think about many hotels that I've stayed at that, I mean, that ended up just being a selling point, because I was there. I was like, okay, we'll just grab like a couple of things and then get on the road. And then how do you, even if the hotel just added, let's just even say $10 a night to the nightly rate, it doesn't have to be that much. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they figured out a way of doing the breakfast included, but instead of like at the higher end properties, breakfast included rates add on like $50 a day. This, maybe it is a little bit more, just like $10 a day, because again, not everybody takes advantage of it. So
yeah, I like to see that. I think that people would pay up for it. Just like we talked about the cancellation, I think people would pay that extra $10, $15 to make sure that's a better quality, right? You
Totally.
can't keep serving the same thing that you're serving that you've been doing if you charge this way, but I still think people are willing to. People like to personalize their trip. There's a lot of tools out there right now to help you do it. I was just talking to some friends over at Real Time Reservation. That's what they do, right? They help hotels do this, and they're seeing a lot of people use those products and paying ahead of time for different things. So there's a lot of opportunity for that out there. But for viewers and listeners, if you're here watching live, let us know. You don't have to give a whole full thing, but just say yes or no if that is what you decide to be doing. If you decide to go to a hotel, is the free breakfast the deciding factor? Yes or no? Let us know here. I'm curious to see for everybody. And my brother, David Turk, just returned home from a week in Sedona, Amara Resort, and had hot apple cider, coffee, hot chocolate, milk, and small treats in the lobby, rotating every day. Free lobby services are so nice and overlooked. Those are nice treats, right? But I'll bet, let me look at that receipt when we get home. We can see if they charge you a resort fee for that. That might be included, but it is a nice treat to have that every time you're coming in from a nice hike or something.
It is. I've stayed at that property. That was a sister property to one of my last hotels. So
did you choose a good one?
What? Yeah. It was great. It's perfect. It's perfect for, look, at the end of the day, you're in Sedona to be out and about. You're not there to be in your room. So perfect. And I like that they have those nice little treats. So, and they've got a cool pool in the view.
Yeah. Shout out Amara Resort. I got to check it out.
Excellent choice. Okay.
Alec Paul's opinion on this. He lives in Minnesota. And so, right in the middle of the country. And he says contributing factor, not a deciding factor. Okay.
Yeah. Well, again, I think it also all depends. Like, it's not that big of a deal for me, party of one. But if I'm traveling, and I'm a family, and we're 4 or 5, for sure that moves the needle. So, yeah. All right. Just want to be mindful of our time. Let's get to our next topic here. Spirit Airlines to sell 20 jets, and they also recall furloughed flight attendants. So Spirit Airlines announced the sale of 20 aircrafts as part of a strategic realignment. And then they're also rehiring furloughed flight attendants, which is sort of showing that they're doing a sort of operational repositioning, so to speak. So, what? Oh, I saw that laugh.
It just makes me nervous. Okay. Makes me nervous when you have an airline. All right. They're selling off 20 of their aircraft that they're not currently using in rotation. They said they've been trying to sell them for a while to raise cash. Great. They furloughed 1,300 flight attendants. They're bringing back 500, but the union said they're still going to be fighting for healthcare and a bunch of other things that are going on for them. It just makes me a little nervous. Like, we're dealing with a company that's trying to save money. Every single penny counts. What else are they cutting back on? I don't like having that thought in my mind as I'm flying through a little tube in the air where you got to count on everything being well maintained,
totally
looked after. How many maintenance people have been cut back? Are they rushing through things? It makes me a little nervous, but we're getting some comments here on our last story. So Robert, only if they include good quality protein, etc. You're getting those powdered eggs, my friend, and fake sausage maybe that they throw on there.
Glad I don't eat that.
And we got another one saying, I agree with Sarah. Families are looking for those benefits. I agree too. I got a family and I do look for some of those free breakfasts. That's why I like booking with American Express. And Lou, I tend to stick with the big three, Delta, United, and American. So Lou, you're saying you wouldn't go on Spirit that has been cutting back on all expenses, selling off airplanes and furloughing flight attendants?
I think you hit the nail on the head. The airline is in the middle of their second bankruptcy. Why would you choose?
Low cost carrier.
Why would you choose to fly on a company that's in the middle of bankruptcy? Fly on. Now, the other side of that is, and I am overgeneralizing, how many people that are flying Spirit Airlines know that they're in the middle of bankruptcy?
Not many. They're looking at, all right, I got a $70 rate.
It's not on their radar. They don't even know necessarily.
Listen, we're adding to the anxiety here. I just said I want good news. We're adding to the anxiety of what's going on airplanes. But
well, perfect. Why don't we go to our unhinged story of the week then?
Yeah, because this guy had a lot of anxiety.
Oh my gosh! All right, do you want to kind of walk us through this, because this is wild, or do you want?
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's get this up on here. So, a British tourist at a Hong Kong international airport went on a rampage, destroying multiple check-in kiosks in a chaotic scene caught on video which has now gone viral. The man toppled about 10 machines and used a metal stanchion to smash additional equipment before staff and security intervened. It just appears a rough day for this guy. The anxiety got to him. I would love to see what was going through his head. The other favorite part of this whole article, can I say?
Yeah.
As he was arrested, he was also caught with 4 Viagra pills, which I guess were illegal narcotics in Hong Kong, because I guess he didn't have the right paperwork for it. So he faces up to 10 years in jail for smashing all these machines and having a pocket full of Viagra.
All I have to say is slow clap for this gentleman. When it comes to having bad days, buddy, that's a bad day. That's a bad day. But my other question is, why did you leave your house? Like, what on earth could be going on that's so upsetting that you have to resort to that? I mean, clearly there's some sort of chemical imbalance, whether it's a hormonal thing or whether it's, something else. I mean, that's obviously not normal behavior at all.
It just seems to be something at airports, something with travel, like that stress of getting through security,
anxiety.
getting on the plane. I'm going to miss this. Maybe there was a big event he had to get to. Who knows? Maybe you look at his side of the story and it's a whole different thing, but I don't know. To go ahead and start rampaging in the Hong Kong airport. And my favorite part, if you watch the video, if you just put the screen clip back on there, you have to get the video. But my favorite part is there's the guy who walks up at the end looking like the check-in. So like he's just like looking at everything destroyed all over the floor.
Like, what?
Yeah, so that scene, but if you watch the video right there, like you see how everything's destroyed, some guy just like rolls up looking to check in afterwards. So
that's crazy.
Airport life is hilarious.
I know the stuff that happens there, which actually kind of brings us, we tacked on one extra little story here because it kind of goes with it, but there was a mid-air brawl that ended up happening on a Jet2 passenger. Well, I'm good friends with Jet2. They had a physical fight mid-flight, forcing a Jet2 plane to divert. What was great about this and why we kind of tied this in is that both of the passengers were later banned from the airline and fined for their conduct, because that cost money, because they had to divert the plane. And so I think we need to be seeing more of this, not just banning, because obviously people can just go fly whatever airline, but actually fine them for their conduct. And to be honest, maybe we already do that and I don't know about it. I haven't effed around and found out, but I will say that, sometimes you just have to stick it to people and be like, yo, you have to pay for this. The world does not revolve around you. You have impacted this business and obviously then the lives of 200 plus people or however many people are on the flight. And I mean, sometimes somebody just needs, they just need a good slap on the hand.
I will say this. I think I can share this. Maybe the government will get me in trouble, but a friend of mine, I can't say too many details, works for ICE, and he was joking around with us, like, stop making fun of him on something, and he pulled out a form. It's a no-fly list form, and it has all the reasons why you can be no-fly list. And so you get stopped at the airport for many things. So there's definitely lists out there that you get put on right away, and it'll make your day terrible every time you go to the airport. So.
Ooh, that is not fun. That is also crazy that list exists and people can so easily and readily add to it.
You're added to this list.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Guys, relax. Enjoy the flight. Be grateful for a beautiful day. Hopefully things get better for you, smashing up the airports. And I'm sure you all watching and visiting and viewing and listening to this, you see a lot of crazy things out there too. If you've seen a crazy story, give us the link, because we're going to be adding this every single week to our show, the Unhinged Story of the Week. So let us know what you're seeing out there.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, definitely let us know. But we are going to be mindful of our time today. We won't do our real-time recap, but that just means we're going to have that much more to share by next week. I'm going to be traveling this weekend, so I'll be in Cabo. Stay tuned. Check out my social. I'm going to be exploring a new hotel. And I'm sure by next week, I'll have a lot of fun real-time recap stories to share with you all.
Me too. Yeah, I'm going to Disney. I'm going to be in the Disney bubble, which I want to check out with fam. So I'll come back with some stories too. So if you're at Disney, holler. We'll go on the ride together.
Well, I love it. All right. Very cool, guys. Well, with that.
Until next week.
Stay hospitable.
We did it.
We'll never get it right.